can we emulate this guy with a synthesizer? We can. Let's go. So let's start with an empty instance of the Zebra. And right now we have here an oscillator. I'm going to remove that one, do it with you guys from the beginning. Now an empty oscillator. So right now it should sound more like a sawtooth. But we have to change that and change it into a pulse wave. Now, why a pulse wave? Pulse wave is actually the best sound to emulate the bass, a real bass, because they have this narrow kind of sound when you play a jazz bass. The pulse waveform is also very good because it has the right overtones we need in order to reproduce the bass sound. So a sawtooth wouldn't cut through. So right now we have just a square. Now we're going to change that pulse width to get this narrow sound. And I can almost hear that. It has almost this quality of the buck, 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 buck. But we have to filter it. But before, we have to go into the envelope to shape the loudness of the sound. So the first thing what we need to have is it needs to go down to a certain sustain level. This is what we're going to do here. What all these values do here in this upper section, I've explained already in my first video, so I provide a link here, up there. So please check that video about the envelopes, how they work, and why I choose these ones. Now the view slope is again my favorite. And I wanted to have this initial thump. You know, when you hit the string, you have an attack, and that attack is a little bit louder, and then it should decay to a low volume. So what we're going to do, we're using also this time new the fall and rise parameter. Now I only use the decay and the sustain now for the attack portion, so we get this pop pop pop. But without it, we stay on the level we set here. Now I can hear it. But we need to let it fall down to 0. So we use this fall. So we use this knob here. And now it naturally decays until you don't hear nothing. So now we have the sound a bit more attacky and it decays naturally. So next thing what we need to add is a filter. I found that the all-around filter works perfectly here, so we're going to change this by going into that section to the all-around filter. And now I'm going down, and now I hear nothing because it is too low. But the next thing what we have to add is key follow, because for now the bass doesn't open up in the upper ranges. So I'm going to add a key follow parameter, and I set it to quite a higher value. So and I'm going to drive the filter a bit. Sounds already good, right? So now even when we add a little bit of a resonance here, we can even get it even more, you know, this nosy sound, and can get even a little bit more low end out of this. Okay, I'm gonna raise the volume now a bit. So yes, okay, now we got the sound. But we're not done yet. We need to have it a bit more round in the lower frequencies. So what we're going to do, we're going to add a EQ. And this is what we can do here, or we can add it later in the sequencer in your favorite DAW, whatever you use. But for now, best thing what I think would be to add it here. So this is another filter instance, but we can set this filter now to an peaking filter. So I'm gonna sweep now through the frequency I'm looking for. So we set the resonance, this is the Q factor in this case, a bit more higher. So now we got a little bit more, buddy, you know? Are we done yet? No, one thing left. Legato and monophonic. We have to make the bass sound legato or monophonic, and adding some glide to it, some portamento when we hold a note, you know? Shit's going to be funky. Wow! So we're going to set the mode to legato, get rid of the soft attack. We don't want to have a soft attack. And set the glide here to a value which helps us to get this legato sound. Okay, that's about it. For now, it's all about the programming. So how this can sound in a real arrangement or in a real song. Let's listen to this. Told you it's funky. Okay, that was an easy one, I think. And of course, you can do this with any synthesizer you like. It will sound a bit different, but if you have a synthesizer where you can adjust the pulse, But if you have a synthesizer where you can adjust the pulse width But if you have a synthesizer where you can adjust the pulse width freely from very narrow to a square, you can do this straight. So, if you like that video, please smack that like button and subscribe to my channel. That's about it, and more stuff is coming. See you next time. I'm Monte. Bye.